Come on.
This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah.
My brother, Markus Koger. I've been waiting to do a podcast with you, whether it was a smoking section or an Outside the Round or something. Like, we've had many conversations together.
This has been a long time coming.
A long time coming, my guy. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming out here to our neck of the woods and luxurious. This is like one of the weird spots where it's like Hermitage, but it's also like Old Hickory, but it's also like
Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I used to live not too far from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And one of my buddies, we would go to the bar here. I think it's called JP or JV.
Oh, the Poorhouse.
The Poorhouse.
Yeah.
We would go there, and we would just sit there and drink for hours. And I can't tell you how many times I have left my car unexpectedly and had to Uber home. So it's far out, but it's like this is kind of like my neck of the woods right here.
You feel good being on Lebanon Pike.
I feel good being on Lebanon Pike. Feel really good.
So how's life been treating you, bro? You got the two phones are ringing over here. You got the stick. You got a little crown heads. I love that you got two phones, bro. I love a burner. I love a burner. I don't have one. I'm thinking I'm gonna need to get one.
You might
soon.
need to get one.
It's coming to that point.
You might need to get one. See, all right. So,
and you run with the watch.
And I wear the watch. Yeah. I keep it onto the person. So the watch is connected to the personal phone.
Yes. Yeah.
The other phone is for work. And sometimes I leave it at home. Sometimes I leave it in the car. Sometimes I lose it from Broadway, so I look at my location to find my phone. Sorry, Old Smokey. They don't have Apple Care Plus on that one. Sorry. Yeah. But no, it's here's the thing. It's very hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because you're like, and I don't like taking out the phone, but because I'm sitting down, it's like I don't want it on my ass the entire time.
Yeah, you gotta clear the pockets out.
Gotta clear the pockets out.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's very hard to keep up with two phones.
Yeah.
It's the gray hair issue. You can tell it's starting to come out.
Oh, it's coming.
And
Silver Fox over here.
I think it's because of that.
Yeah. So when you say work, you're involved in a lot of different things. We're going to kind of get into the backstory for folks that don't know. You, like me, come from the world of radio, Northeastern guy. We've worked with some of the same people, been in some of the same circles at different times. The fact that our paths didn't cross blows our minds. But nowadays, obviously, the Smoking Section podcast, one of my favorites, one of my favorite pods since I moved to town that I've been listening to. You've had a great episode recently with Mr. Brantley Gilbert, one of my all-time heroes in music. That's really cool. And now you're getting to be book the entertainment.
I'm booking the entertainment at Old Smokey at 6 and Peabody.
Or you can call it Yeehaw.
What
do you like to call it?
We're all about co-branding.
It is.
So here's the actual name for it. This is a mouthful. It's 6 and Peabody, home of Old Smoky Moonshine and Yeehaw Brewing.
Okay.
That is the actual name of it. It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
If you work there, it's just called 6 and P.
That's the industry term.
That's the industry's term for it. But it is technically called 6 and Peabody. That's what we tell people.
Yeah. And you've been over there now for how long?
Oh, July 1st.
So we're
We're
cruising up to a year to be here before we know it.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's getting into busy season.
It's getting into busy season. We're getting ready to do. When's this releasing?
This will be out end of April.
Okay, cool.
End of April.
So we're getting ready. So I can say it. We're getting ready to do Ernest. Ernest is getting ready to do his release party.
Oh, sick! Congrats, that's a big one.
Yeah, he's going to do his release party. Hopefully, he has some friends showing up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we have a running bet on who would show up, and I think I'm going to win with Post Malone.
What night of the week is it?
It's on a Friday.
Okay, so that makes it a little tough.
It makes it a little. Well, here's the thing. I checked their schedules.
Okay, yes, that's smart.
I checked their schedule.
Smart.
I'm very smart with this. So Hardy is out because he's in Athens. Morgan, surprisingly, is not on tour
Ooh.
that weekend. Jelly Roll is in Arizona the day before, but we all know he has a jet, so he can be in Nashville literally that night.
Yeah.
And Post Malone has just been hanging around Nashville for God knows how long.
Yeah, just popping in everywhere.
Everywhere.
We had him at Losers the other night. He was in like the back room, but
yeah, he just hangs out. Like he just comes. Like I'm still waiting for this country album that they're talking about. You know, it's coming, but it's just like, buddy, you're taking too long to make this damn album. You're with some of the best writers in town.
I think it's because he's meeting new people every day that he's out.
Yeah,
like you know how it is. You pop into Winners Losers Live Oak, 6th and Peabody, home of Old Smoky and Yeehaw Brewing. Like you pop into these different places and you never know who you're gonna see. And a guy like him already rolls with all these cool circles.
Yeah.
And then there's the extensions of that. Like nobody is out of reach for that, man.
Which is what I love about this town.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about this town. We're all this town. It's growing, and I've watched it grow. You've been here for how long?
It'll be 6 years in October.
I've been here for 14 years.
Yeah.
So I've watched this town grow where Demumbrian used to have a gravel lot across the street from it, and it was not apartment complexes. And we would leave our cars there because we didn't have to pay for parking, and we would get too drunk at Tin Roof. So I've watched this place grow, but it's gotten big and it's gotten like the large city feel, but for some reason it still maintained the small town community feel in the music industry.
Yeah.
Where everyone is separated by literally by 6 degrees, where it's like, oh, I don't have this connection, but my buddy has this connection to this person.
Yeah.
Or his buddy has a connection to this person. So it's like, you know, I have to go with you. Like it's one of those where it's like everyone's connected. You're gonna run into someone you don't know, and you're gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This person's good. Let me talk with this person for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's different levels of people too. Like everybody's at fucking Red Door.
Yeah,
everybody's at Losers.
Absolutely.
People are popping into some of the spots on Broadway. Were you around for the spot on Broadway?
Yes.
Because I heard.
Yes.
I was talking with some friends the other night, and they were like, "Dude, you missed this chapter of downtown."
Yeah. There was a place called The Spot, and then there was another place that John Rich used to own that you basically, like, it was like members only kind of thing.
Yeah, like fingerprint
like
shit. Like there's all these little
you had to know someone to get into that place
and have the money. It's like a country club.
Yeah, and there's a new place now. I'm not going to say where it is, but there's a new place now that's like that in one of the hotels.
Interesting.
That I went to, and it's like I know some A-listers that I've walked in, and my buddy was in there, and he stumped it and walked me in, and there was an A-list person, I'm going to say an actor, waiting to get in because he couldn't get in.
Wow.
It didn't matter who he was not getting in.
That's crazy. See, that's what's cool about this city right now. Because like you're a Philly guy, I'm a New York guy, and it's
Birds.
like, fuck y'all. It's just damn Saquon Barkley, Mr. ACL tear himself. $12 million a year for 3 years for a late 20s running back is a bold move.
We'll be in the Super Bowl though.
It's a bold move.
We'll be in the Super Bowl.
It's a bold move. We'll see. We'll see. Y'all thought you'd be there this year. We'll see. But we come from places where there is that high profile like limelight, especially New York, Philly, and now Nashville's like having its moment. I feel like in the last decade it's been that, and it's just grown tremendously.
It's grown in like LA. It's like
we're like LA.
We're like LA, Las Vegas kind of ordeal right now.
Yeah.
Like I remember we beat Vegas on the Bachelorette trips, and it's like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
People want to just come here and have fun. And here's the thing. I think this is what's appealing. We have the same appeal that LA has. You don't know who you're going to run into.
Yeah.
You might see Cole Swindell at Winners and Losers hanging out.
Yeah.
You might run into, I was just at Chiefs grand opening last night.
How was that?
And that was great. But Luke Holmes was upstairs.
Just hanging.
Just hanging.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. It's like, you have no idea. And the day before it, they had Michael Jordan in that place. So it's like, you really,
Yeah.
you have no idea who you're going to run into.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can see Keith Urban at Trader Joe's sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's like, I think that's the appeal that we have. Same thing with L.A. You never know who you're going to run into in L.A., but, like, I think it's the appeal that we're having in this town where it's like, I had a friend come into town, and she lucked out. It was the middle of the week. She lucked out.
It's the best time to come, by the way.
It's the best time to come.
Those Monday to Thursday trips.
It's the best time.
Prime.
And it's like, we were walking down. We walked from Losers down to Tin Roof. And as we're walking down Losers, I hear my name being called. And I turn around, and it's Cole Swindell. And Cole was like, hey, come have a shot. So we went back in, had a shot. She's freaking out because we're having a shot with Cole Swindell. And then we're like, all right, we got to go. We go to Tin Roof, and sure enough, we could see good old Chris Young at Doghouse as we're walking past to go to Tin Roof. And she's like freaking out. So I'm like walking up to Chris Young, like, hey, can she get a picture, blah, blah. Yeah, absolutely. Then we go into fucking Tin Roof, and there's Kelly Pickler. Who apparently she voted like 15 times for on American Idol that she's doing. And I'm like, you hit the trifecta because that never happens.
Yeah.
That never happens.
Not all three at three different spots.
Exactly.
Like that. Yeah. Not all three at three spots like that. And it's cool to like be in the industry and to have relationships with those folks, and for it to not be a big deal that Chris Young's sitting at the bar at Live Oak with an AirPod in his ear chilling. You know, like you take it kind of for granted. But then folks from the outside come in and they're like, this is crazy. Like me and Nikki talk about it all the time. Like stories that we have, they don't sound real.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's crazy. Like just being in this town for a little while now.
I can tell you that probably half people probably at home will not believe half the stories that I tell them. Because you, like you said, it sounds made up, but like this shit happens.
Yeah,
this shit happens. It's like, you know, you end up drunk with Chris Young because Chris Young has brought you shots of whiskey for your fucking birthday, and you're like, I don't drink whiskey, but it's Chris Young.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, Marcus. Yeah, dude, it's like it's crazy, like because. What you get to experience being in this city. So for you now, being here 14 fucking years, bro.
Yeah.
14 years. That's 2010.
Yeah.
That's
January 5th, 2010.
January 5th, 2010, dude. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that was coming from
Philly.
Coming from Philly down to here.
Yeah.
So what was that process like for you? You're how old are you 14 years ago?
20.
You're 20 years old. You're not even old enough to get in the damn bars.
No.
And you come down here just on a whim kind of thing, having the radio experience that you had.
Yeah, so I went to MTSU. I went to MTSU for 3 years. I dropped out 3 times. Sorry, I'm sorry, Mom.
Go Raiders.
Yeah, sorry. But I dropped out 3 times. The funny thing is that you say you weren't old enough. I never got carded.
Really?
Never got carded.
Wow.
There was
very different Nashville.
Yes, very different Nashville. There were some places where like they would ask for an ID, and then some way somehow I would like finagle my way into it. And I didn't have a beard, so I had a baby face.
Oh, you were baby face, Marcus, right out of Philly.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're going to let him in. I had a friend where I'm not going to name any names or name the bar, but there was a bar, very famous bar downtown, that I would go in at 6 o'clock and just sit there and listen to music. And then here's what I know. When you're sitting in a bar by yourself and you're not drinking, and this only happens in downtown bars, someone's going to buy you a drink because they feel like you look pitiful.
Yeah. So
it was always an older white man, sorry, who would end up buying me a drink. And once that drink was in my hand, now I can go to the bar and get a drink because they think they served me or someone served me.
Yeah.
So I've already been carded. But I would stay in there until like 8. And then it was like, oh, man, and I would just sit there and just like listen to music, I would get to know the people playing. I would get to know, the band members and things like that. That's how I made friends.
The bartenders. You got to know the downtown industry.
Yeah. And that's how I got to make friends. I went from that, then I went to internet radio. I worked for internet radio here.
Dude, I did the internet radio thing too when I was in college.
Yeah, I did that, and it was just like, and it was fun. It was like that was one of my first tastes of like co-hosting a show, and it was so much fun that it was like, okay, I can do this. Like, this is what I want to do, kind of thing. It was just 20-year-old Marcus back then was kind of like, he was untamed. 34-year-old Marcus now, it's very tame.
Yeah, because you've seen some stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff. I've seen careers die. I've seen careers start. I've seen people self-sabotage. It's just one of those where it's like you gotta. There's a time and place to be crazy. Time and place to be crazy is when you're with your closest friends, where ain't shit gonna get out.
Yeah. There's
nothing like there's no blackmail happening. There's no like scandal gonna happen. You're not, man. I'll tell you, like I was talking to my friend last night at Chiefs, and I was like, if Scoop Nashville was around when I first got here, my career would be dead by the time I walked in.
Yeah.
It'd be dead by the time I walked in. It'd be dead. It'd be dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Broadway Marcus.
Broadway Marcus was bad. Broadway Marcus was bad.
Broadway Marcus. What's like your go-to drink? Because I've had nights out with you, but I've never like paid attention to like what the big man's drinking.
It varies.
It varies depending on the mood, depending on the bar.
It very depends on the mood.
So what was last night?
Last night was whiskey.
You're at makes sense. You're at Chiefs.
I'm at Chiefs. Last night was his gypsy bourbon. I'm normally a tequila Sprite guy.
Okay.
Normally.
That's what you're ordering from Ronnie at Red Door.
Yeah.
You're getting, hey, Ronnie, give me a tequila Sprite.
Give me a tequila Sprite. And it's never like the well. It's like Milagro or Terramana
or Casa or something like that.
I don't like Casa.
Really?
Unpopular opinion. I don't like Casa.
I never had Casa. I quit drinking before I could get into that. But like everybody that I've met is
I don't
like
Casa. I don't like the vanilla taste yet.
Okay.
So I don't do that. But football, we have this drink at Jonathan's called the Marcus.
Ooh, you got your own. Okay.
I have my own drink, and we actually put it on. They put it on a menu at Ollie Taps at one point, called the Marcus. It is Corona with a shot of grenadine in it.
Oh, okay. Had some color to it.
Yes, and it's crazy because like if I ever do it at Red Door, people are like, "Is that drink red or is it just the lights?" And I'm like, "Nope, the drink is red." I can't tell you how many people like stop me at Jonathan's and is like, "What's in that? Like, what did you put in that?" Like, and then they taste it and it's like, "Oh, this is actually pretty good." It's a very summery, refreshing drink.
So right now we're getting in season for the Marcus.
Yes, and but here's the thing: it goes until football season ends too.
Okay, yeah, which that's the benefit of being in the South, bro. It stays warm. You'll get that 70-degree September, October day.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my go-to drink. So I'm normally like, I can't do vodka.
Can't do vodka. Okay.
I black out on vodka. I can't do vodka.
Okay.
Broadway Marcus comes out on vodka.
All right. Good to know.
So don't ever serve me vodka.
Good to know.
I don't do rum.
Do you do the root beer shots at Red Door?
I do the root beer shots.
I was gonna say, I feel like people got to do that. That's the novelty.
Yeah, you have to do that. I mean, I say I don't do vodka, but there are a couple of drinks that I would do that I know have vodka in it, and it's like, okay, but it still tastes good.
Yeah.
Like a Long Island. I love a Long Island.
A Long Island on a rowdy night.
Oh yeah. Which is very far in between now.
Yes. Yeah, dude, it's everybody kind of like changes and evolves, and like I feel like I've lived now, I guess I'm in my fourth life of stuff in Nashville. Like, I feel like I'm on my fourth life in a little under 6 years, where it's like I did the Broadway thing. I worked the door at Whiskey Row. I did security. I was out on Broadway every night. I was doing my thing at 23, and then I was out on the road with Muscadine selling merch. Then COVID. Then I was out on the road with Trey, and that was a chapter. Now doing this Raise Rowdy stuff is like another chapter. And it's like, for you, in 14 years, you've had to have lived
15 lives.
Yeah. Student Marcus, Broadway Marcus, internet radio Marcus.
Yeah.
Finding your way into the industry, Marcus.
Security Marcus.
You did security too?
I was security at Doghouse Winners and Losers.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Security. There was security Marcus. There was marketing guy Marcus. Merch guy Marcus. Marcus went on tour with Matt Stillwell.
Oh, really? I
was
didn't know
on
that.
tour with Matt Stillwell for a little while. There was there was Apple at-home advisor Marcus.
Oh, tech support Marcus.
I was tech support Marcus. There was Verizon Wireless customer service Marcus. There was Kroger. I worked at Kroger. My name is Koger. I worked at Kroger.
What a perfect.
Yeah.
Which Kroger were you at?
The one on Thompson Lane.
Oh, I've been to that one.
Yeah.
I've been to that one. That's
Yeah.
an interesting location.
Yeah, it's a very interesting location.
You talk about people watching, bro. 'Cause I used to go to the one on Murfreesboro Pike. And
Yeah.
the Thompson Lane one. That ain't too far off from that one.
Oh no. So I like no. there was my boss at one point, because I used to do overnight shift,
Oh.
and it was like, because this is when it was open 24 hours before COVID.
Yes.
And so, people would come in and they only have self checkout. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop someone from stealing something because of the fact that they might have a gun on them, and I'm not risking my life for no damn food.
I'm not risking my I'm not risking my life for
$10, $12 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. So there were times where I would like fall asleep on the job. Don't even care. As long as I got my work done by the end of the night. But it was like I would sit there and like be bored and just like.
Yeah.
Working that overnight shift sucks if you're like the person who's like handling the self checkout, because you never know, like people might not come in.
Yeah. You're just by yourself.
You're just by yourself, and I'm like, couldn't be on your phone. I'm like, well, who the hell am I texting at 3:00 in the morning when everybody's sleeping?
Yeah.
I'm not taking a booty call in the middle of Kroger.
That's funny.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like you're not doing all that.
No. So I've done a lot. I've been DoorDasher Marcus. There's been a lot of hats.
Yeah, so but now it feels like you found what you wanna do. And how long have you felt like, all right, I'm where I wanna be?
Ooh.
Like, where did that hit?
I'll tell you when. When I started working at Sirius XM, and this is not bad mouthing Sirius or anything. I started working at Sirius XM, and it was just one of those where it's like,
What was your role there?
I was part-time producer.
Okay.
And it was one of those where it's like, I'm doing that, but I'm also doing my podcast. And I started realizing that I was getting more fulfillment doing my podcast, which I was not making any money off of at all.
Yep, that's how this works.
Not lucrative at all.
Yeah.
I started getting more fulfillment from doing my podcast than I did working for Sirius. And it was just a feeling where it was like there's something more to this. Then I sat down and I'm like, wrote down my goals and things like that. And it's like, one of the goals I wrote was like, eventually I want to host a TV show, or eventually like I want to get into hosting. And fast forward to 3.5 years later, after me working at Sirius XM, I'm now hosting a podcast still.
Yeah.
But I am also hosting a TV show.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Country Line or County Line?
Country Line. Country Line TV. Seen in 92 million homes.
Yeah.
And it's all across the world.
Yeah.
All across the world. But it's been fun. It's been I watching myself grow. and having like outer body experiences and seeing. I had a moment the other day because I was talking to my best friend, Karina, and we were talking about when I first moved into my new apartment that I'm living in now. She's known me since I lived out. I wouldn't say I don't think she's known me since I lived in Hermitage. Yes, she has. So I used to live I lived off of Rachel Pike. I lived off a place called off of Plus Park Boulevard, which I thought was like the place because it was like 5 minutes down the road from downtown, and we're straight down. It's a straight, easy ride. And the interstate's right there. Then COVID happened. Ended up getting evicted and things like that was because of that.
Yeah.
Then I moved out. I moved literally less than a mile up the block. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I just go straight down Lebanon Pike.
Yeah.
I'm on First Avenue. I'll be downtown. It's easy to commute to work. And end up having roaches and shit in my place. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing? And so I left there. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to move out to Hermitage. Because since everything closer sucks, move out to Hermitage.
Yeah.
Moved out to Hermitage. And then it's like, it was very peaceful. I hated the fact that I lived on the third floor because there was no elevator. It was literally just stairs. So to carry, and I moved myself. So like I had to carry all my furniture up the flight of stairs. Well, I left my furniture because I wasn't carrying the roaches, but like I had to carry all my shit up 3 flights of stairs by myself.
Brutal.
And then I left there and I'm looking for a place, and was like, I talked to a friend at work and was like, hey, I need to find a place. Can you help me find a place?
Yeah.
And she's like, I got a place for you. I'm like, okay, cool. Sends me to LC Sobro. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, this is kind of expensive. Like, I don't know if I can do that, blah, blah, blah. I just started work for the TV show. And I just started work for Old Smoky. And in my head, I'm like, well, it's downtown. It's 2 blocks away from 6 Peabody. And I'm like, okay, whatever, And I had this big ass couch that cost me $5,000.
You would have a $5,000 couch, Marcus. Marcus the king needs his throne.
I need my throne. I need my throne.
Yeah.
So I had this $5,000 section on. I'm just like, I need a place to fit this because I'm not getting rid of this damn couch for another 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And they took me around the building and they showed me 3 places, and the third place was the place. And the third place happened to be the cheapest. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm just like, I think I'm gonna take this place. It went up $700 the next day. I'm so happy I locked in the price that I did. Yeah. It went up $700. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Kidding me? But me and my friend were talking. I'm just like, I was sitting there talking to my friend. I'm just like, it's amazing how I've grown and how my living places have grown with me.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that every place has been like, a stage in my life.
Yeah.
That it's like, it'll get better. It'll get better. It'll get better. It'll get better. And then eventually it is. I mean, look at me now.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. I feel like that too. When I first moved to town, I was living in a room that didn't have windows.
Yeah,
I was paying $450
That's
a
a
month.
closet.
I was living in a bonus room for $450 a month in Spring Hill, Tennessee, at the Grand Reserve Apartments down there.
Wow,
they were nice apartments.
Nice apartments.
It was $450 a month, and I was driving up to Broadway every day, working security from Spring Hill and then back. And
buddy, it sucks. That drive sucks.
But what I told myself, Marcus, was I was like 45 minutes or an hour is a lot closer than 14 hours. It's a lot closer than being in New York.
That's how it was. So
it's like you in Murfreesboro.
That's how exactly. I was going to say that's how it was in Murfreesboro. I used to. See, this is getting ready. This podcast going to get me in trouble with my family. I used to when I was in college and I was reaching out to people to just have coffee.
Yeah.
I would have less than a quarter tank of gas in my car, in my little Honda. And it would get me from Murfreesboro to Nashville, but the prayer and the $5 that I had in my account got me halfway back. So I would always have to stop, and like I always knew when I was close to running out of gas, and it was like, oh shit. But then you also have to pray. I also had to pray and make sure the person I was going to have coffee with was going to pay for the coffee.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, I can't tell you. Here's a funny story. Blake McDaniel, who's one of my mentors in this town, he works at CAA. He has no idea about this story. One of the first times we had lunch, we went to the Southern.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not a $5 coffee.
Not a $5 coffee spot. We went to the Southern, and I was so broke that I had to pretend that I was like on this intermittent fasting diet because I didn't know whether or not he was going to pay for the meal or not. And I'm like, oh shit. Like he was like, oh, get something. I'm like, no, I'm good. Even it got to the point the waitress was saying, you sure you don't want anything? No, I'm good. He's sitting there munching down his big ass, sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just drinking some water.
Yeah.
That's how broke I was back in the day.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like it was to see where I've come from. It's like
that makes it that much more rewarding.
Yes.
To be where you're at
yes.
right now, and that's part of the grind of going to a new place.
Yeah.
And betting on yourself, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what moving to Nashville is.
Yeah.
It's betting on yourself in so many ways, and there's guys and girls that do it every day. There's close to 100 people that do it a day.
Yeah.
Like maybe not in the situations that you and I were in with coming down here pursuing a dream.
But everyone does it.
Yeah.
Everyone does it.
In some facet. People have to do it and stuff. And right now, like you're involved in a lot with the music thing, obviously. Like having the TV show, doing the hosting thing, having the podcast, obviously, which Smoking Section, again, big fan of it. And then now getting to be an entertainment director, like getting to book the talent and all that stuff.
Which is kind of where I started in Nashville.
Yeah.
Because while I was at MTSU, I was actually booking a venue.
Oh.
While I was at MTSU. And I was not getting paid for it.
Yeah, you were doing it for the experience and for the connections.
Doing for the experience and the connections. I've made a lot of friends that are now big-time artists and big-time songwriters. Drew Baldridge was the first. I booked one.
Love Drew.
He was 19 years old when I was booking him. He couldn't even get into
fresh out of Illinois.
Yeah, 19 years old. Here's one. Hit songwriter Matt Alderman.
Yeah,
wrote songs for Dylan Scott, and I booked his very first writers round.
Wow.
Booked his very first writers round in town. I even booked. He texted me one day. He was like, "Hey, my parents are in town. Can I come play?" Yep, sure.
Yeah,
no problem. Got up there and played. We stayed up until 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the morning for him to play for his family. It was just him and his family.
Yeah.
So it's like those connections and those friends that I've made are like I've made lifelong friends.
Yeah, dude. Same with us. You know, like for me, some of those people where it's like looking back.
Yeah.
Bailey's very tied to us. Rowdy. Bailey's first time ever playing in front of anybody was Rowdy on the Road.
Yep.
Some of Meg Maroney's early stuff in town. Like so there's guys and girls that have, and it's crazy to like watch them pop, but then to have those stories from them back in the day. And for when you see him at Red Door, Bailey comes running up to you, he's like, Matt fucking Burrill, and he gives me this hug, and then everybody, all these girls at Red Door and all these people at Red Door are like, who the fuck is this guy? Like Bailey Zimmerman's running up to, and you have those moments too. I'm sure you had those with your friend that you were talking about recently with the fucking Swindell, Kelly, and fucking Chris in one night.
Yeah, but here's the thing, I had it in Germany. I went to Germany, and I had it in Germany, and me and my buddy, we walked up to it was C2C festival. We were just I never been out of the country as far as like Europe.
Yeah, which C2C is on my bucket list.
Oh, you gotta go. And I would suggest go to Germany than anything.
Okay.
But so we're walking up there, and like, Restless Road was up there.
The boys.
And Zandy Hout was up there. And we're like sitting there, and like I walk up there, and all you hear is, "Oh shit, what are you doing here?" for one of the guys on Restless Road.
Yeah. And
everybody's looking, and like I'm coming, and I walk over, I say hi to them, say hi to the man, say hi to the tour manager, and everybody like that, and they're like, and then I sit down, and I sit like stage left, like front row. But I can see people like looking at me like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I had that at we were at Josh Ross's. We had a good night at Red Door last night with Josh too. It was a late night, but it's
always a late night with Josh Ross.
Yeah, dude, it's a fun time. We love Jr. Love his record that's out right now.
I love it.
But they had his release thing at Old Red, and I was there with our friend Sarah Beth, James Mason, Matt Easton, some of the guys in that crew, and we were like up in the front row because it's like with Raise Rowdy, we always say like front row don't go. Like I don't need to be up if I'm up in the balcony with the VIPs, cool. And I know I could have been if I wanted to do all that.
You're different from me.
I like, for me,
you like the front row.
Cause I like going to concerts, like or being in the pit or whatever. But it's like I was in like the front row, and it's a Josh Ross show, so it's just girls everywhere. Like in the front, it's Josh. And Josh is singing these songs, and then he keeps coming over to where I'm at the stage, and he's like dapping me up while he's singing, or like making eye contact, singing these songs that are clearly not targeted at me, but he's making eye contact with me. And then all these girls are like, who is this guy? Why is he's singing Trouble, and he's making eye contact with this dude in a Yankees hat with a beard who's singing every word, because I'm a music fan at the end of the day, and it's a funny kind of moment because
it's a funny moment
because they don't know the relationships that we have with the artists, and they think that we're something which, in a regard, we've built cool paths for ourselves, and we've made names for ourselves, but at the end of the day, we're just dudes.
We're like that was the whole reason I started the podcast, was because I feel like and you understand this. Society has made it to where artists and celebrities are products.
Yeah.
And brands. Understandably so. They make that money. Cool. But at the end of the day, when it's freezing cold outside, they still get in their cars to warm their car first.
Yeah.
Whether it be automatic starter, or they have to go the old-fashioned way and get in that car and push start or turn the key.
Yeah.
They still got to pay electric bills. They still got to pay a mortgage bill. So it's like they're still human beings, and I think people just don't realize that.
Yeah, that doesn't register with them.
It doesn't register with them. Like, when you see someone on stage, you're like, all you see is a star, and it's like, no, that motherfucker's going through some shit today.
Yeah.
He may not be in the best mood, but he's putting on a fake smile, or he's putting on a show. But it's crazy when you look at people like, oh, yeah, I remember when he was this, or going through this, or going through that. I was there for him then. And I'm like, you don't hold it against me. It's like, this person is still like, he's my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone looks at you, and you're like, and then everyone, like, people look at you, and they're like, well, who's this guy?
He's got to be a product.
He's got to be a product or a brand. Yeah. There has to be some type of status he has.
Yeah.
As to why Josh Ross might know him, or as to Michael Ray might know him, or as a coach would know. There has to be some type of status, and it's like, no,
we're just homies.
I'm just a regular guy
just a regular guy who's right place, right time, gotten to know this guy, know this girl.
Yeah, and I think people, it's a status thing, and I think once you get past the status, it's like, from a fan standpoint, if you can just get past the status, you understand like where a person comes from.
Yeah.
What person's like what? Here's Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a one-of-a-kind artist, but she lets people in to where, like, she makes you feel like you are her best friend.
Yeah.
She, like, is open book. You know what she's thinking, or you think you know what she's thinking.
You know who she's dating.
You know who she's dating. Travis Kelce. You know who she's dating. You know what you know her life. Like you're into her life, And people have gotten past, I think in my eyes, people have gotten past the status point of Taylor because she has allowed them to get past that whole status point.
I think that's a key point to why she is what she is, because everybody in the crowd, no matter what age you are, no matter boy, girl, whatever, like you feel like you know her, and the Taylor, and that you have that thing where it's you have when you see her on stage, you're like, that's my girl.
Yeah, that's my best friend up there, who's dancing around, singing Reputation and selling out stadiums. I'm so proud of her. I've known her since she was 15 years old.
Yeah. And she has no idea who you are.
And she has no idea who you are.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
It's wild. So talk about relationships and building and all of that stuff. Your podcast is very interesting, and what I like about it is obviously I'm a big cigar guy as well, and we've broken bread, or we've smoked, we've shared sticks, we've smoked sticks, we've had sticks together, we've enjoyed good sticks together and everything. But
Crowned Heads cigars.
Yes, Crowned Heads. Yeah, shout out to Crowned Heads and all those good premium top shelf cigars. But what I love about your podcast is that it's a hang with artists or interesting people over cigars, and you've gotten to have all kinds of guests on. Who's somebody that you're like, I didn't know they were a cigar person, or like some of your favorite cigar hangs that you've gotten at? Because I know like some of them have been like virtual now, and like you're doing all what you're doing, but like different folks where you're like, that was a great cigar hang. I enjoyed having to stick with this guy or this girl.
This is going to be very surprising because she's not as big as she should be. Kaylee Hammock.
Kaylee Hammock. She's a badass.
Kaylee Hammock. And I didn't know that she was into cigars. She's actually, I think she's the second season opener, I believe. And she came in. We were setting up. It was me and my co-host, Dwayne Hobson. We were setting up, and she came in. And normally what we do is, like, if someone who hasn't had a cigar, before I was sponsored by Crown Head, I would walk around the humidor with them at Casa, and we would be like, oh, do you smoke cigars? Well, I haven't smoked one in a long time. Okay, we'll get you a mild one, like something easy.
Yeah.
And we normally do that. And then we take pictures and stuff like of me showing them around, things like that. No, that didn't happen with Kaylee. While we were setting up, Kaylee was in the humidor picking her own cigar, knowing what she wanted. And then,
what'd she end up picking?
I forget.
Do you remember?
I don't remember. But on cigars, you're not supposed to, like, you're supposed to hold the ash for a little bit. I don't do that, but you're supposed to hold the ash for a little bit. And I kid you not, this girl lit her cigar, sat down, and there's a picture of it on my Instagram somewhere. But the ash was about this long.
Oh, it went a good, wow. That's very impressive.
She had it this long without dropping it.
Wow.
And then by the end of the episode, she was like slouching in the chair, like comfortable, having a full-blown conversation. She's one of the most fun ones I've had. The other one, Rusty Gaston, was great because he spread the gospel of songwriters.
Yeah.
And I think that songwriters don't get enough credit. You know, you see all the artists in the spotlight, but I think that when you realize that artist wouldn't be where they are without a songwriter who's written that hit song for them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rusty Gaston. Jordan Davis, Cameron Marlowe. My favorite one, those are my favorite ones. My other favorite one would have to be Danielle Bradbury.
Yeah.
Because if you ever meet Danielle Bradbury, she's a very shy,
she's very quiet
person.
Yeah.
And this is not me tooting my own horn, but I had someone in the industry, the radio industry, most people have listened to the podcast, and they have said to me that they have never heard her talk that much.
Yeah.
And I looked them in the eye and I said, well, then you're not doing your job.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. You want it to be, and today's kind of like a cheat code having you on because you do what I'm doing right now on the other end of it, and like you know how to talk and have a conversation, and it's like these microphones aren't even fucking here. You
Exactly.
know? But yeah, getting an artist to do that can be tricky sometimes. You're gonna have some where it's like quick little 3-word, 4-word answers, like yes, no, this, that, whatever. But then you'll have some that'll really open up. And when you can get a girl like Danielle to open up, man, props to you.
Man, she opened up, and I always ask the artist beforehand, what do you want to talk about? Like what is there not? What's the one thing you don't want to talk about?
That's the key.
What's the one thing you don't want to talk about?
Yeah.
And because they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And so her manager goes, well, what are we talking about? And I'm like, anything and everything.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Like, this is like we'll talk about music, but like whatever you want, we'll talk about. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, just don't want to talk about relationships. Who I'm dating. I'm like, fine.
Easy.
Everything
else is on the book.
Everything else is on the book. It's good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we talked we talked about it, and like, you know, I did research on her, and we were just like, she's Hispanic. She's part Hispanic.
A lot of people don't know that.
And a lot of people don't know that. And like, she's Hispanic, and we talked about it, and like, she was telling me about how, you know, her abuela, which is grandma in Spanish, and she said it with such a strong Hispanic accent that I literally had to do a double take to realize who I was talking to, because she, like, when she starts talking and saying things in Spanish, it's like a whole different person.
She goes from like Danielle to Danny.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's like, whoa. This is you. Like, this is the real, like, you. Like, you're not just some shy girl who I seen in 10 Roof just sit next to me and not really talk, but just, like, laugh at things.
Yeah.
No, like, there's a person behind it where, like, you were just talking.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap. That was one of my, like, most fulfilling conversations, because it was like, I wanted to know her more because I just love her music so much.
Yeah.
But then when I sat down with her, and that was an interview that I thought that was not going to happen, because that day, that morning, I got an email saying, "Hey, can you not smoke? Can you not drink?" And I'm like,
"This is the smoking section."
This is the smoking section. Did you not realize that beforehand? Yeah. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. And I always tell artists, I told artists that it's optional for smoking cigars, and because I know they have local things, so it's optional. The cigar thing is mainly for me.
Yes. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I keep telling them, like it's mainly for me. The drinking is mainly for me. But like it was actually the first interview that I look back at that I'd done that I was like sober, completely, fully sober, where it's like no drinks, no alcohol, it's just me and you having a conversation.
Yeah.
And it was one of the coolest experiences.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's fun. You talk about like Danielle, like her Hispanic heritage, and right now is a very interesting time in country music. Oh, God, and like it's a lot, like the diversity in country music and the crossover thing right now is at an all-time high. And I'm sure that's something that, given you and who you are, you get asked about a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how many times have you been asked about Beyonce since all that stuff started? How many times?
I've lost count.
I was gonna say, I think of folks like
I've lost count.
I think of folks like you and Marcus Dowling from the Tennessean, and like Marcus Dowling, he's done a great job of coverage, like, and throwing the whole spectrum of what is going on within that movement right now. Like, I mean, like it's got to be, it's had to have been like an everyday thing, probably multiple times a day, via text, DM, phone call.
Here's the thing about it, and this kind of goes back to COVID, when we had the George Floyd thing. Yeah. And everything was at a heightened peak. Racial, discrimination, everything was at its peak. Yeah. And I find the conversations that I'm having now about Beyonce coming to country music are similar to the conversations that I've had about George Floyd.
Wow.
And everything. And it's mainly just race.
Yeah.
It's not anything to do. Here's the thing. If that was Kelsey Ballerini doing Texas Hold'em.
Yeah. It's just another Kelsey Ballerini
It's
song.
another Kelsey Ballerini song. Do you really think there's going to be an uproar?
Yeah.
About Kelsey Ballerini doing that?
Yeah.
No. If it was Carrie Underwood doing it. Oh, Carrie's doing something different. Different sound. Oh.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have the uproar of, well, why is she coming over? Here's the thing. And this is the question that I always ask people who ask me, how do I feel about Beyonce and why is Beyonce coming to country music, blah, blah. Here's why. Here's what I feel. If you're asking that question, why are you not asking that question about Post Malone?
Yeah, well, I think the question can be asked about Post Malone. It can be asked about Lana Del Rey.
Yep.
It can be asked about anybody that's doing the reverse Taylor Swift, going pop to country.
Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Why didn't you ask Darius Rucker that when he came over?
Yeah.
You had no pushback when Darius came over.
That is interesting. People forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had no pushback. Darius came to Nashville. He recorded a country album. And guess what? He had 4 number 1 hits off that debut album.
Yeah. Yeah, he became more than just Hootie. Could it be because the folks that were listening to country music are the same folks that listen to Hootie and the Blowfish?
Exactly.
And he's a good old boy, South Carolina Gamecock.
Exactly. And then here's the thing. And this is oh God, I'm getting ready to piss some people off.
You say whatever you want, Marcus.
I'm getting ready to piss some people off. Country fans, and this is not nothing against them at all.
Yeah.
But country fans are more conservative than a pop fan base.
And I think as the genre as a whole, we're always 5 to 7 years behind everybody.
Correct.
With trends, with
Correct.
streaming, with albums, everything.
Correct. And so they are afraid of change. Everyone's afraid of change at some point.
They were afraid of FGL
They
10
were
years
afraid
ago.
of FGL. They were afraid of Luke Bryan.
They were afraid of Garth Brooks 20, 30 years ago. They were afraid of
Exactly.
Garth.
Exactly. So it's like everyone's afraid of change. But once the change settles in, and you're like, oh, this girl sounds good. You look at, you have the Britney Spencers, and you have the Tanner Adeles, and you have the Ashley Ambers, and you're like, oh, these girls sound good.
Yeah.
Now people are going to listen. And I think the biggest question I got wasn't the biggest question I've gotten about the Beyonce thing hasn't been about Beyonce coming to country music. It's been more so of what do I think about her coming to country music and overshadowing the ones that are already been in country music.
That is a fair question.
And doing it. And my answer to that is it's going to force them to step the fuck up.
It's going to force them to step up, and I think it's going to create broader eyes.
It's going to create broader eyes.
High tides raise all ships.
Yep, correct. And Beyonce coming to country music is bringing a black community over.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's even bringing more than the black community over.
It's bringing, yeah. It's going to bring the gays over too.
It's going to bring, the world over, and country's the cool place to be right now.
It really is, and we're seeing country evolve right before our eyes, and to the point where people were asking, well, this isn't country. When I always ask, well, what exactly is country nowadays?
Yeah.
What exactly is country nowadays? You have a guy who is selling out football stadiums, Zach Bryan, who barely gets any radio play. Who music tiptoes the line of country music and Americana.
Yeah.
Okay? You have Cody Johnson, who is selling out arenas everywhere, who is Texas country, along with going down the line of the Garth Brooks and the the swing dance country and the George Strait country music.
Yeah, it's traditional.
Traditional country. Okay? You have Thomas Rhett, who was so heavily influenced back in the day by Bruno Mars that he stuck Uptown Funk into a set.
Yeah.
And then made music kind of like based off the inspiration of that.
Yeah.
Then you have the Nellies coming over.
Nelly's been here. He's been here. He's been on country festivals for about a decade.
Here's the thing. Now we talk about Nelly. Here's the thing. If you really want to blame anybody for these crossovers, it's Nelly.
It's Nelly and Tim McGraw.
It's Nelly and Tim McGraw.
Over and over again.
Because without them, you wouldn't have had a Brantley Gilbert and Colt Ford. You wouldn't have had an FGL and BB Rexa. Or FGL and Nelly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you wouldn't have had Taylor leaving.
Yeah. And now you have Morgan on pop radio. You have Luke Combs on pop radio. Granted, the Luke song is a
cover song.
Is a cover of Tracy Chapman, but like you have the country folks going over to pop now.
And you don't see anyone in pop having a fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't see anyone in pop having a fit.
Yeah.
Of Morgan Wallen coming over. Drake is welcoming Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
Post Malone is welcoming Morgan Wallen and Ernest.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that's why I'm saying the uproar, and I need people to understand this. The uproar of Beyonce coming over is not the industry.
No.
It's the fans.
Yeah, and I think we see the trends and we feel the trends here before they happen. Like I had a buddy tell me, I remember it was like last year or 2 years ago. He's under Kane Brown's verse 2, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm writing this song, and they said that Beyonce is gonna look at it." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And he's like, "Yeah," like, and it didn't end up making the record, but hearing that 2 years ago, it makes sense now. What's kind of going on, and I know there was like the articles about making country cool again. I think that's where I have the issue with it, because I love that we are the thing right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, if One Direction wants to make, Harry Styles wants to go country, cool.
Come on over.
If like the biggest rappers, if like Drake wants to do something country,
come on
let's
over.
Go. Make us the genre of the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for that.
I'm all for it,
because while being the genre of the world, you still have the underground.
Correct.
Like even when you had like the Jiggy era with hip hop, like up in New York, up in
Yes.
Philly, you had the Jiggy era. You still had the Lyricist Lounge.
Yep.
You still had Mos Def and those guys that were like the underground that the true fans of that appreciated. You could have the big like commercial thing where there are like the crossovers and the biggest name in the world could be in it, but you'll still have your folks. You'll still have your Zach Tops, who's coming up right now. You'll still have your traditional. You still have your Muscadine Bloodlines.
Correct.
You'll still have your. They'll be.
They're gonna always be there.
Yeah.
They're gonna always be there, and it's like it's no shade to them.
No.
But they're doing music. They're doing music on a deeper level than what a Luke Combs is going to be doing, or what a Morgan Wallen is doing, or even what a Beyonce's doing. They're doing music, and this is not knocking anyone, so don't take my words and twist it, but they're doing music more so on a non-commercial basis where they're putting out quality music and they have a niche fan base.
And they sell tickets.
They sell
that $1,500 to $3,500 a night, and they're
happy for that.
And they have a couple million monthly Spotify streams, and they sell $5,000 to $10,000 in merchandise.
Correct.
And they make a good
living off of it. Like they're not struggling to pay their bills. They make a good living off of it. Where you have the commercial ones.
Yeah.
Those are the really famous ones. And you have to want fame.
Yeah.
To be them. The other, like the ones, the underground ones, they don't necessarily want the fame. They just want to go play their shows and go home.
They don't care about a Grammy.
They don't care about a Grammy.
No.
They don't care about an ACM. They don't care about a CMA. They don't care about that.
Their level of validation and success is different.
It's different.
It's different for everyone.
Correct.
And I had Chase Bryan on here recently, and it was really cool catching up with Chase and what he's got going on and everything. But we were talking about this kind of thing. So I think everybody's talking about it right now. And he was like, yeah, like you go to Baskin Robbins ice cream, there's 30-something flavors. Not everybody in line's going to like the same fucking flavor. You know? Music is like that. And it's funny, you were talking about like Americana and country.
Yeah.
Americana and country to each other are kind of like hip hop and R&B.
Correct.
Where it's like the same kind of demo.
Same kind of demo.
It's the same kind of demo, but they're slightly different. And the R&B and soul is different. And you'll have guys and girls that will cross over into both. You'll have your Mary J's and have your folks in different things. Just like you'll have guys that lean a little Americana with a record, like your Eric Churches, that'll lean that way, but still be the broader thing is country. But then you have different sects of it, just like you have, and that's where I think right now where we're getting to is like I said, we're like 5 to 7 years behind everybody else.
Yeah,
rock has had subgenres for decades. Pop has had subgenres. The hip hop community had its explosion 20 years ago with the different subgenres, and now we're getting our subgenres.
I think we're more than 5 to 7 years behind. I think we're more than 10, 15 is what I think.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know if I'd go 10 to 15.
I think 10 to 15. I think 10 to 15 because if you look at pop, right? A gay artist comes up in pop, and like Sam Smith. Sam Smith's selling out arenas, openly gay. We still haven't had one here in country music.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Brothers Osborne would be the closest thing.
Brothers Osborne would be the closest thing. But like an actual like solo artist.
Yeah, there's that Orville Peck guy, but he's not a Nashville guy.
He's not a Nashville guy.
He's an LA guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like you haven't had that. You haven't had we just recently started having black artists top charts. Just recently. And then we cut one off. Not naming any names or anything.
Yeah.
But that's that's why I say we're 10, 15 years behind. Because of the fact that I would say 8 to 10. I'll be generous and say 8 to 10. Because it's like until we can be more accepting of each other in this industry, some of those things will never happen. You may never see a gay artist, openly gay artist, top the charts in country music. That's all fine, well and good. But you may never see that.
Yeah.
You always have the fan base of people who and this is not every fan base, but you always have the fan base and even industry people who will not understand certain artists, or who will not understand, who wouldn't like change.
Yeah.
I know some people in the industry who don't like the fact that Beyonce came over. Understandable.
Yeah.
You to each their own. Everyone has their own opinion about it.
Yeah.
I think. Side note. I just thought about this. If you're upset about the Jolene cover of Beyonce, you shouldn't be, because the fucking person who wrote it endorsed the damn song.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. And I'll be honest, I haven't listened to the Beyonce record the whole way through. I've listened to the one where our buddy Willie Jones is on. Yep. I've listened to some of that, but I think where I got a little frustrated with it too, like going back a few years from now, was because like the award shows in my mind, like they're cool, but they don't really matter a whole lot and maybe that's because of who I came up with, I came up in the Muscadine Bloodline world, and they're a machine that can sell tickets with anybody in the club scene, that have a huge merch operation and are proudly independent, and then I was part of the DDID thing with Trey, and that was a whole different kind of thing. But like the award shows, because it's like when someone like Mickey Guyton wins a Grammy or is like nominated for a Grammy, but doesn't have the thing that like say like a Luke or a Morgan or an Eric Church or like that, because maybe it's just the lens that I'm looking through. Like I guess because that's where I think if Beyonce wins the Grammy for Country Album of the Year this year, which she probably will. Probably will, but there's this uproar amongst country fans. Like
that she's not country.
Yeah, that's where the issue comes in, because it's like, how do you not give that to Luke or Morgan?
But here's the thing.
Or Zach. Or even Zach.
Or Zach. Here's the thing about that. I give you one better. Fuck the Grammys for a minute. What if she wins the CMA Album of the Year?
Yeah, over
Morgan, over Luke. Because in reality, by the time they released an album this year, it would probably be out of the window for CMA votes.
Yeah, the way the criteria goes. Yeah, that might have been why she dropped it so early.
So by the time CMA comes around, what other album are you voting for?
Yeah, what are the other options? Is Oliver Anthony? Zach hasn't put out a record.
He won't be at the fucking award show.
No.
So what other album is there?
Yeah,
what other album in time is going to be released?
Yeah.
Ernest? Sorry, Ernest, but
no, it's a different level.
It's a different level.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's like beyond. Like is Beyonce going to be a part? Are they going to add her to the CMA Fest on Nissan? Wouldn't surprise me. You talk about television reads.
I tell you, here's the thing. I don't think she'll do the CMA Fest awards. CMA Fest. I think she'll do Spotify House.
Oh, and she'll just pop up.
I think she'll do Spotify House, and I think because Spotify has the money to do it. It's what I think she'll do.
And she'll pop up at Old Red. Which would be
and not tell anyone. Like she'll be at the late night.
It'll be like the late night, like, hey guys, don't go yet.
Don't go yet. We have someone here.
Special guest, and then it just goes into it, and she plays that and has that moment.
Yep.
And then it's world news.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. That's the big pro, I think, to having the eyes on the genre. And I think it's just people are like it's the same thing with hip hop, where people were like, we don't want this to be commercialized. We want to be buying our mixtapes on fucking Canal Street.
Yes.
And they don't want it to get bigger than that.
Exactly.
They want it to be like their thing. Same thing with like punk rock and all different genres. You don't want it to be Taylor Swift's at a stadium. You want to go and see her in a small setting. Like you don't want that thing, because then it's you were there so early on it that you hate that it's cool and all these other people, and you're like, you're not a diehard fan, and there's all this fucking bickering and bullshit.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about it, and this is from a fan perspective. How many people, when they get that big, change?
Yeah,
music change. I can't tell you how many artists friends have told me or have heard from fans, and I've seen on Instagram and social media say, oh, your music's changed since you've gotten in arenas or since you've gotten in stadiums.
Oh, man, you sold out,
or
man.
you sold out.
Yeah.
It's like, did I sell out or did I just grow?
Yeah, did I grow and I'm doing what I want to do?
Correct.
I want to go down. I want to be timeless.
Correct. And that's kind of, that's kind of where it's at with people. It's like, we have those fans, those diehard fans. Those diehard fans, they will be pissed at you.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, they have to understand that there comes a time where it's like, you have to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, you do, man. And that's why it's so cool and interesting to be in town right now.
Yeah.
Right now is between what's going on with the city itself and the growth of the city, to us having the national spotlight, to our award shows, which they've been on networks, to being on the big thing, to us being a destination for not just people in America, not just people that like country music and drinking, but around the world.
I think the bigger Nashville gets, the bigger country music gets.
Yeah, duh. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. We're having our Sunset Strip moment right now.
Correct.
And I don't see a sign of it slowing it down, knock on wood.
It's not going to slow down.
I don't see a sign of it slowing down, especially, when the Post Malone album comes out,
it's gonna blow up even more.
Yeah, Post Malone's got a song with Morgan on there, and he's got a song with Luke
and Ernest,
yeah, and whoever else, we don't even know. He's still working on it because he's adding to it.
It's.
You imagine Zach Bryan does a song with him? Imagine that.
Did you imagine Kenny Chesney doing a song with him?
Yeah, that's what's weird too. Now it makes me feel old. Yeah. The heritage acts, bro. Like the guys. Like I remember having Luke Combs on my college radio show. Yeah. I remember having Morgan with his fucking flat bill hat and his FGL Smooth tour jersey on at Jenks Club in fucking Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And now those are the guys that are at the level from when growing up. We were watching the Chesneys. We were watching the Tims. We were watching the Tobys, R.I.P. We were watching the
Keith Urbans.
The Keith Urbans. The fucking Brad Paisleys. The Aldine. And then more recently, even the Aldines, the FGLs, the Luke Bryans. Like, these guys like Zach, Luke, and Morgan have surpassed what those guys were, and they're still fucking climbing. They're still climbing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I hate to say this. I think one of those have plateaued a little bit, though. I think one of them has plateaued.
I think until we see the next record.
I think yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I think until we see the next record, and I think he's built such a huge fan base that I think there's a reason you saw him at Chiefs last night.
Yeah,
because I think every artist kind of has who they looked up to and who they saw. And for a guy like Zach, I think Zach looked up to Childers and Sturgill. And he has surpassed what that was.
Surpassed it.
He has
There's a fucking song of Bruce Springsteen coming out.
Yeah, he has surpassed that. I think Morgan comes from the FGL tree, and I think he comes from that world, you know. But now it's leaning into the pop thing where he's influenced by guys like Drake, you know. And then I think Luke is like the guy like Chiefs, where you can have the church choir, which is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. Like, it is crazy. I think that diehard fan base.
I think, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I think that until the next album comes out, I'm saying this. He's plateaued. He has the FGL effect. I don't
think so. I'm not with you on that.
No?
Because I remember when FGL was having trouble towards the end with putting people into the Ryman. There was that when that happened. That was like right when I first moved to town. Luke is still
I mean music-wise.
See, I don't think so.
I mean music-wise and climbing. There was a certain point in time. Where FGL kind of like released something and it didn't boost their career.
See, I don't think.
But that was because of the fact that at that point, they couldn't get any higher.
Well, that was also the ceiling was lower then. The ceiling is higher now.
Exactly.
When that Post Malone record comes out, that's gonna be even bigger, dude.
Yeah.
I think there's still that. I mean, he sold out. He's got 2 dates. He's doing the similar to what Morgan's doing.
Yeah.
Two nights a week in the same city, football stadiums all over the country,
and 2 different lineups.
Yeah, with two different sets of openers, and probably different set lists. Probably he's got enough songs.
I love him. I love his music. I do. I love his music. So don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking.
I think what we see, and part of why you could be thinking this, and I've thought it too with other people, is that we're so locked into our bubble here, and it's like
maybe
buzz.
That's what it is.
And maybe it's because he's so low key.
Maybe that's what it is.
He's so low key.
That honest to God could be it.
Because we don't know what the outside world thinks because we're in our bubble.
Correct.
And that's something I forget about all the time.
Correct. Like that absolutely.
Like for me, even like I love Bailey. I consider him a friend, but like for Bailey, I'm like I don't realize how big it is.
How big? No.
And Bailey is. I don't realize that there were. And then you see a video of 55,000 people in Lucas Oil Stadium singing every word to "Rockin' a Hard Place," and you're like, oh fuck. Like we see it when it goes.
I didn't realize
we see the ship when it goes off to sea, but we don't see what they're doing when they dock up and get on the land.
Here's the thing. Morgan Wallen is huge. Okay, I've seen his shows here in Nashville. I didn't understand it fully until I went to Toronto, Canada, and saw him.
Yeah,
and that was in an amphitheater. But when you go to another country and you see this American artist, one selling out in another country, but 2, have that crowd in the palm of his hand from minute 1 to minute 90.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely nuts. That's what made me realize how big. So there was something similar with you and Bailey in Indy.
Yeah.
And 55,000 people saying "Rockin' Hard Place." It's similar to me and that feeling. That same feeling that I had is when it's like, now I get it.
Yeah.
Because
I had a
you are the country.
I had a feeling like that, and I've never met Zach Bryan. I don't know him, but I know a lot of like mutual people that know him
He's
really
an
well.
Eagles fan, by the way.
I know he is. I know he is.
Yeah.
And that's part of. That's one of the few things I don't like about him.
Just want to point.
I know. I know, man. I mean, he is.
He likes winners.
He'll. What he needs to do is spend some time in the jail cell. He needs to spend some time in the jail cell in the Link to be a true Eagles fan. If you haven't been locked up at the Link, you're not a real Philly fan.
You know, I've never seen the Eagles play in a Link.
Yeah.
Never.
I wonder why. Because you're too good of a fucking human. That shit's fucked. But anyway, I saw Zach Bryan because I've said this before. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get the Zach Bryan thing. The music, it just doesn't.
Still don't.
It doesn't hit me. I saw him twice last year live. 12-piece band, horns on. It's like a Dave Matthews concert, bro. So it's like a 12-piece band. We saw him at the Auburn Rodeo, and we saw him at Rock the South last year at our festivals. And Nikki and I went into Rock the South was the first one, and Nikki T and I looked at each other and we're like, I guess we'll see what this is. Like, it doesn't hit with either of us.
Right.
You know, I like guys that are in the Zach Bryan tree. Like,
right.
I'm a fan of like Wyatt Flores and like Aiden Canfield and Landon Smith and guys like that that are on the come up. But I just didn't get it. And then from the moment he comes out on stage to the end when they're playing Revival, it's girls on dudes' shoulders singing every word. It's dudes crying with their bros. It's like the bro effect. Really? It's dudes on dudes' shoulders, and the dude holding them up and the dude on the shoulders, they're both crying in tears, singing every word, screaming, even the happier songs. And everybody in the band is a bit. You got like J.R. Carroll, who's a great artist in his own right, playing acoustic guitar. You've got like this good-looking cowboy dude, like in like a wife beater with like a cowboy hat on, playing guitar. You've got like You've got Reed Conley, who's like hippie looking kind of, like everybody in the band is like kind of like a bit, and he lets them all solo and jam out on every song. Every song's like 5-6 minutes. It's like it's like I'm at a church service. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's people singing back every word. It's the Garth effect. It's like it felt like that, and that's where I understood that. Similar to your story with Morgan, that's where Nikki and I were like, "Oh, I get it now."
You get it, and sometimes it's like that with artists. You have to go out there and see them. You have to like to fully understand it. This is what I can say. I like. It's one of those where it's like, for me with Zach Bryan, I understand that there is something special happening there. The reason why I understand it is because of the fact that if you can sell out football stadiums and sell out festivals and have grown men crying without having a number one hit on radio, or barely getting airplay, that's saying something.
Dude, he deletes his Instagram like every couple months.
Yeah.
He deactivates it. He's not even on Instagram right now, one of the biggest platforms you can be on. He just plugs out. And it's like the origin story of him, too. Yeah. Where there's a lot of parallels to him and Elvis. There's a lot of parallels. You got the military veteran thing where he had to get a leave of absence to come out and play at the Grand Ole Opry. He was still active duty, and they had to write a letter to get him to leave the base in San Diego to come out. That's part of the origin story. The videos of the day ones listening to Heading South, and the videos of him sitting in like a truck bed or like in the backseat of a car playing. Like there's an origin story to it. Just like there's like an origin story to Luke with Vine. Just like there's an origin story to even crossing over to pop, going back to Beyonce with Destiny's Child. Like people that have this origin story to where it makes them larger than life. Yeah. Like he's one of those people where I'm sure when, like, because you see, we're in the room with some cool artists. Like when certain people walk in the room, you get that oh fuck feeling. Yeah, just this energy that they project because of who they are. Correct. And Zach is one of those people, you know. And it's like, and I think that's part of the reason that so many people are crossing over to country is because for the first time in a long time, country has those people coming out. We're exporting them, so now we can import them. Correct. Because it's like, I love Aldean. I love Luke Bryan. The FGL thing, I saw them a bunch. They came to the Tri-State area. I saw them at Susquehanna Bank Center in Camden, New Jersey. Yep. I saw them all over the place. Yep. But it's like, it wasn't at the level because I don't think we were ready for it. Because like you said, 8 to 10 years. And this comes with when you look back at the greats, right? You look at Elvis. You look at even Beyonce. You look at Michael Jackson. They're all hit at their own time. So, which one out of the three
Morgan, Luke, and Zach, which one we're going to? As to be the biggest star, because all of them are ahead of their time. Luke Combs. His lyrics were deeper than regular commercial lyrics.
And I think that has to do with...
And that's why he is who he is.
And I think that comes from his origin story.
Correct.
Because of that comes from him playing at Tin Roof Revival.
Correct.
That comes from him writing with the guys that had moved to town at that time, that part of that class.
Yep. So it's like because he came up before Zach Bryan, he led the movement in deeper lyrics becoming more commercialized.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And I think that has to do with, shout out to Big Rob Snyder and the guys from Revival. Who's from Philly. He has that Go Birds. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. You don't like us, we don't care, whatever it is. Yeah, he has the song with the fucking dog, the dog head or whatever. And I love the Revival guys are a huge inspiration for what Nikki T and I do. We always say that like Revival's like our cousin, you know, like we've been waiting, and Revival's going to be coming back to once a month, which we're very excited about. But like that style of stuff. And then like Morgan coming from the FGL side of things, coming from throwback to that Tree Vibes bus, the OG early days of Big Loud. And then Zach being a kid in his 20s who was having regional success in the Red Dirt scene. Yep. And then COVID happens and everybody's fucking sad. And you can put out songs about being sad and drinking beers with your boys and this and that, but in such like a deep perspective kind of way. We were all feeling that during COVID. I think the timing of that, I don't think Zach Bryan works before COVID. I think the world needs to go through some shit
before we go.
I agree. And it's like that grunge era of stuff, you know? It's like we had the 80s hair metal of stuff. That was bro country.
It's like you want to feel something, so you go listen to Zach Bryan.
Yeah, you'll listen to Zach Bryan. You'll listen to Wyatt Flores. You'll listen to Sam Barber. You'll listen to Oliver Anthony. You'll listen to You'll listen to Cassius Culpepper.
Yes.
You'll listen to people like that. There's a lot of that coming up right now, and I think it's because of where the world has gotten to since like we're not like it's not this happy place anymore. And I miss those happy times. I loved being at an FGL show in Camden where we're in the parking lot, or in PNC Bank Arts Center in Homedale, New Jersey, or at those places, and the fun of that tailgate, just drinking Fireball like it's water, you know? Like,
here's a question for you. Since you're talking about concerts, favorite concert moment that you've witnessed?
Oh, God. There's a lot. Fuck. Because I was going, because it's like I've gotten to do some as a tour manager and like be on the road. Yeah. And then I've gotten to do so many as like a music fan. Yeah. Like there's a few, like Garth Brooks at Yankee Stadium, being a New Yorker, and then having interviewed him at the press conference when they announced that show months earlier as an intern at WMGQ in Central New Jersey. Like to see Garth, and there was a rain delay, and Garth played till 3 a.m, and some of the trains weren't even running, and it was chaos. And it was thundering and lightning, but Garth and Trisha still came out and played that show. That was a cool fucking moment. Seeing some of the Bailey stuff's been really cool, just from our relationship of knowing him for a long time. That was really cool. The first couple shows after the Dick Down in Dallas thing, being out there with Trey, and that was when COVID, when we weren't supposed to be doing shows, but we were putting 2,000 people into a fucking club in the Southeast. Like, we were doing crazy shit. We weren't documenting it because we couldn't, and it's kind of hard to cancel the guy that has DDID. But it's like,
That's very true.
Yeah. But I got to see a song that was a buddy song at a campfire that they played at my event at Live Oak. That see a buddy that I've gotten to watch live his dream, and 2,000 drunk college kids singing it back. Like, that was a cool concert moment. Cody John. I'm trying to think of like different. The Zach Bryan one stands out because I didn't know what to expect. And Nikki and I thought, we were like, are we going to go back and get a head start on traffic during this thing?
And you couldn't.
And we couldn't leave it because it was just captivating. You couldn't look away. Co-Wetzel shows are great too. I like the route, like, because I I like some of the rowdy shit.
Yeah.
I won't be in the pit for the rowdy shit. Those days are behind me. But like, I'll find.
too old for that.
Yeah, I'll find. Like, I'll go front row to like support friends and stuff. But at a festival, we're not doing front row. Don't go. We can't do that no more.
Listen,
I can't be up on the bike rack with 40,000 people behind me. I can't do it anymore.
I've gotten so bougie now.
Yeah, you are a bougie ass.
You
are a bougie ass.
You were telling like this is the second time you told me you were in the front row, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. Like, if I know the person on stage, I'm either standing side stage or I'm standing VIP. I can't be in the front row anymore. Like, I'm like,
see, I could do the front row, or I could do like we saw Zach Top last night.
Yeah,
and Zach's been on the podcast with Nikki and Kurt. He's played our event a bunch. We've had cigars with Zach. Great cigar hang, by the way. Really, really insightful, good dude. But we were just in the pit at the exit in. We bought tickets. Like, I don't mind paying for a ticket if it's like anywhere from like the $15 to like $35 range. I don't mind buying it.
Yeah, I don't mind buying. I don't mind buying it.
I don't mind buying the ticket, and I don't mind like being in the crowd and then hollering at him at the end.
Correct.
I'm a holler at the end guy.
It's funny you said. I just bought Alexandra Cake tickets.
Oh, nice! I love Alexandra. I've only met her like once. It was very briefly. It was through Lauren Weintraub, another mutual friend.
She was also one of the ones in Germany. I texted her I was in Germany, and she's like, "What?" But she got up on the stage, and she did the acoustic like they do. So they had the big stage where they had the full band, and then they do an acoustic set in between, right. And so she got up on the stage, and I'm at the gate. Me and my buddy, and she walks up, and the way that I don't know why they didn't have stairs to get to the stage. You had to like climb on top of like one of those road cases that was locked. Super dangerous for someone in high heels. And so she's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Well, give me your hand, baby girl," and I'll get you up. And she looked at me, she goes, "Oh my God," and hugs me, like gave me this long ass hug. And everyone now looks at me again, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy?
That's funny.
But it's like that was the last time. I just bought tickets, and that was the last time I bought tickets. To a show, and I told her, I'm like, I'm coming to your show out in Huntsville. She goes, "Oh, cool. How many tickets?" I'm like, "No, I already bought tickets." And she's like, "What?"
Yeah, they appreciate it.
They appreciate it.
It means a lot.
Especially when like you have the indie artists, the independent artists who don't have labels backing them and don't have booking agencies backing them, and they have like a management team, but it's like their best friend running the management company.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's all like in-house kind of shit.
It's all in-house. It's like, no, you gotta make that money back.
Yeah, you absolutely do, dude. And that's like we see that with Raise Rowdy, like with our hats and our shirts, which we're gonna deck you out and some hats. We got some over there for you to choose from. But it's like people will come over and I'm like, take a hat, and they're like, no, we want to buy it. We want to support you. And it means a lot, you know. It's cool.
No, it definitely means a lot.
It's cool to have that and that support system, and that again, it goes back to like being a homie.
I am going to warn you guys ahead of time, and this is no hard feelings to you guys. I am going to take your merch girl Dusty from you at some point in time.
Oh, Dusty, yeah, dude, we love Dusty, and I go back to 2019 when I was with Muscadine was when I first met Dusty, because she came up from the same world.
That's actually the first year I met her too.
Yeah, I met her through being in because I working with Trey and working with Muscadine. We did a lot of shows with 65 South and through the Alabama world, and it's like Alabama's like, it's funny, I can go into like a bumfuck city in Alabama and someone will come up to me and be like, Matt Burrill, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know? We have a huge listening base because of my relationships with Muscadine and Trey, you know. So Dusty was somebody that I met through there, and she is a fucking dog. She is a dog. She fucking hustles. Her and I had a merch tent together. It's funny, we had her at the Auburn Rodeo. And then we're going to, I think, be bringing her out to some festivals this year when she's able to get off Broadway and stuff. And it's like her and I had a merch tent together because I've spent time doing the merch thing. And I set records with Trey and with Muscadine and pre-COVID. And me and Dusty together, it's like we have like a sibling rivalry over who can sell more shit, and it's fun. We bring out like the best in each other, and we're like yin and yang with selling merch. And she's just one of my favorite people.
So that was your experience of meeting Dusty.
Mine was doing that, and then I did the music video with her, the Dick Down in Dallas remix video where she's cheating on me.
Yeah.
And I hired Trey to investigate, and then he ends up in bed with her.
Yeah. My first time meeting her was at a whiskey jam.
Oh boy!
At Winners, Parker McCullum was playing. A couple of people were playing. I remember Parker McCullum was playing because someone asked me to try to get a picture for him, and I was still security for Winners and Losers, but I was off that night, and so I happened to go in there and just sitting there watching people play. And she was celebrating her friend's 21st birthday, and it was her and 3 other girls. And this girl, we already made friends, that's a joke, but this girl had walked up and like stood directly in front of her. And all you hear is, "Bitch, you not see me here?" And I look over and I'm like, oh no. I talked to the security guard, and I had to put her basically in timeout and told her to sit down over by the security guard. So she sat by the security guard, just swinging her legs, like, cause she was getting ready to fight.
Yeah.
And sat by the security guard, just swinging her legs. And then the girl ended up doing something where she ended up getting kicked out. The other girl.
Oh, jeez.
And so, so then she finally came back, and I'm like, "You good now?" And she goes, "Yeah." You know how she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. That was the first night I met her.
Wow.
And ever since then, we've been best friends.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and she's been really nice for us to have, because we're with our stuff on Wednesdays, particularly over at Losers now, where we're at, which we're excited to be over.
How is that over there going? I haven't been in a show.
So
winners busy on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know, totally understand. Yeah, winners has been good. They're remodeling it right now, getting ready to do a full update, a full facelift, which we're very excited about. And then in the meantime, we're at Losers, and Losers has been a blast because it sounds better in there. It has like this dungeon-y kind of feel. The crowds are into it, and then it leads right into Chris Andrucci in the house band. He's a really good friend of ours, so it's worked out really, really well. We've been enjoying it and been growing it, and it's been awesome. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we're talking about doing stuff outside. So that'll be it's exciting.
I told you I'm kind of when we had our meeting, I was
I know, dude. I know.
I was so pissed.
I know, dude. I know. And it's like, and it's there is what I love about Nashville though is that there's enough room for everything.
Exactly.
There's enough room for there to be a kick-ass event on Division Street, a kick-ass event on Demumbrian, a kick-ass event downtown, and a kick-ass event at 6th and Peabody.
Yeah.
Like, there's room for all of it, you know? It's a big enough ecosystem.
But I wanted it all at 6th and Peabody.
I know you did. Of course you did. Of course you fucking did. Of course you wanted it all. You wanted every night of the week to be booked up and then the weekends to survive off the tourists.
Correct.
That's what you wanted.
Correct.
You wanted the cool in-town things there.
I got goals and shit. I'm trying to make this place fucking money.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, absolutely. No, and that's totally understandable. And I love that bar, and I love the vibe there. And I think during football season, there's no place better to be on a Saturday or a Sunday during the day. Like college football Saturday at 6th and Peabody is elite. It's elite. Everywhere you turn, there's something. You got to get there when it opens to get a fucking table.
And we're at Tennessee Bar.
Yeah, which is a huge deal.
Which is a huge. I didn't realize. Here's the thing. I don't pay attention to college football because coming from Philadelphia, we don't really.
What are you gonna watch? Temple? Yeah, you have Temple. You have Temple. You have UPenn.
It's like, come on.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna do that. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, but I never got into college football, and I'm still not. But when I walked into 6th and Peabody and saw it was a Tennessee game, and I think it was Tennessee, Alabama.
Oh, geez, yeah, you saw a big one.
And I walked in, I'm like, holy shit, I can't even move in this place.
Yeah, just a sea of orange.
Just a sea of orange. And I'm like, this is what this is about?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a religion.
Yeah.
They go to church. They go to church on Saturdays.
Yeah.
It's just church is football.
It's like a mega
and you can cuss and drink and smoke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm like, okay.
It's chaos.
It's absolute chaos.
It's wild, man. So you talk about what are some goals for you personally and within work stuff for the next for this year? Because obviously this year a big year for a lot of us here in town.
Yeah, this year's a big year. I am in pre-production for a TV show.
Okay.
A separate TV show. Which I tell you off the record about.
Cool.
But I'm in pre-production for that, and then we are CMA Fest at 6 and Peabody is going to be one for the books.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
One for the books. We literally have every day booked.
That's great.
So CMA Fest is going to be one for the books. May the 11th, I can say it because I'm the one in charge of it. So I'll say it. We're doing a big show May the 11th where Danielle Bradbury will be headlining.
Awesome.
Along with Drake White.
Heck yeah, dude. That's great.
So we're doing a big event for that. Personal things. I'm not doing the podcast consistently.
It's tough to do.
It's tough when here's the thing. I'm having the hard time of doing it now because of the fact that when I did the COVID, no one was touring, so everyone was like, "Let's just zoom it up and do it real quick."
Yeah.
But now it's like everyone's touring, and I'm fighting the battle right now of publicists thinking that my podcast is a promotional tool.
Okay.
And I've been fighting that battle for a while.
Yeah.
Because I've been to, I wouldn't say been to, but I've compromised for that for a little while where I'm like, okay, in order to get this artist, cool, we'll promote. I'll do the promotion, first 15 minutes of the conversation, and then we'll talk about whatever. So I'm dealing with that as well. So it's like, oh, we can't do it until we have a media day, or we can't do it until, and I'm just like, but my podcast is not a promotional thing. It's just really just to talk about their life and just have a chit chat
and have a cigar and
have a cigar. That's really all it's about.
Yeah.
But I get it. I understand. It's part of the business. Whatever. So I want to be more consistent, but that's kind of tough right now.
Yeah. I feel that. I took a break for a while.
I took a 6-month break.
You know what we're doing? This will be the 3rd week of it, I think, by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
I'm at 2 a week releases.
Are you really? See, I had a hard time.
I'm at.
But you have a team.
I have me and Nick.
I don't.
I have a video. We have Ike on the video.
Yeah.
We leverage some AI stuff. But
Yeah.
It's me. I do all the audio editing. I do all the descriptions. I do all the tags. I do all the posting.
See, I do all that. Like I'm a one-man team.
We got five pods in the network. We got me at twice a week. We got Nick and Kurt at twice a week. We got Raise Rowdy Racing once a week. When this week, no. We're recording, no, because they're rehearsing with Travis Tritt.
Yeah.
And then we got Peyton at once a week, and we got Sam, the Rowdy Alternative, at once a week. So we're at, what is that? That's 8 or 7 podcasts a week is what we're dropping within Raise Rowdy right now. So it's a lot, but it takes up a lot of fucking time.
And I think people don't understand that. It's like, you know, it's you and like 3 other people technically.
It's me and I run the podcast.
You run the podcast.
So it's me, yeah.
So
it's me, yeah.
So it's like, so you understand. It's like, but like, I don't think people understand this. Okay, let me explain this. Like we've been sitting here for what, maybe over an hour and a half, 2 hours.
We're at like an hour, coming up on like an hour 40.
Okay,
doing good.
So we're doing good. So that would normally take you how long to edit?
I'll send it to you. You'll approve it. And
exactly.
You'll send it to you. You'll approve it. I'll run it through a quick process. I mean, I have it down quick.
You have it down quick.
I have it down quick. I could have it uploaded and probably like just the audio stuff. Like 20 minutes. 20,
See,
20,
I'm a Nick.
20, 30 minutes.
Okay, so I'm a nitpicker. Is what you're telling me. I nitpick at everything.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Sirius XM, I nitpick sound.
See, for me, it's like if it's going, it's going. Like I'll look at the waves. I can see when there's a breath, there's a pee pop in, or like this or that.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point where it's like now, like like they have Adobe. They have now because now I did the editing on Adobe podcasting, but like before they had the Adobe podcasting, it was just Adobe Audition.
That's what I use.
Yeah, and so, but now it's like if I gave it to an artist team or whatever, and they're like, oh, take this out, or take this out, or take this out, and it's like, well, that leads to juice of the conversation. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So. Because I never want to piss anyone off when I started.
Oh, dude, yeah, we do like review. We do like, hey, review this and send over timestamps.
Yeah,
timestamps are the key.
Yeah, see, but it takes me like it's that, and then I just started. So there's this like the clips from Brantley. They all came when I put it in the system, like the system online, and they all just like went, here's 35 clips.
Yeah, that's what we use. Yeah,
yeah, and I'm like
something similar here.
And I'm like. Oh.
Yeah, and it ranks them and tells you everything.
It ranks
their
trending.
Yeah, and then you can go in and edit it as you need to and adjust the camera angles and do split screen or fill or this or that.
And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
If half the shit that's around now was around when I first fucking started this podcast, my podcast would be bigger than what it was, bigger than what it is.
Yeah, but also we wouldn't have had jobs as early guys.
That's very true.
We wouldn't have jobs. There is no part-time producer.
There's no part-time producer.
They take that rate and put it into a monthly fee for the AI program. That's how that works. Yeah, we use. I mean, we have like a virtual thing that we use called Riverside. That's where we do our virtual pods. Like we got a webcam plugged in up there for if I'm having a guest. Like we're gonna be having my buddy Blake Ferguson who plays for the Dolphins coming on soon. He's a good cat, good dude. And lover of country music. I'm going to do a virtual pod with him where I'll be able to sit right there and use one of these mics, hook it up to that boom arm over there, and then do that, plug it in the Riverside. Riverside pops out description, track, the chapter list, everything that I need. And then I can go right from there directly to YouTube to all of our hosts. Yeah, we've done a lot of thought and research. Done a lot of thought and research. So we're doing this. We're booking 13 events a month right now, between 10 to 15. So like 13 is our comfortable spot between Live Oak, Losers, Rusty Nail. Then we're going to 10 festivals this summer. So we start our festival gear next week.
Freaking killing it.
Yeah, and we're hustling, and we're moving all the merch, and we have to hustle with the merch, and we have to keep the orders and the stocks going for that. We have to use our merch vendors and come up with designs.
So you and Nick are just the only two owners of this whole company.
It's me, Nick, and then we've got like my family helps out too.
Yeah,
like on the back end to make sure the books look good.
Yeah,
tax season. They have like that kind of stuff.
Tax season.
But it's Nick and I, and we have like Dusty will come and sell the merch, or our friend Danny will come and sell the merch, or we'll have then we'll have Ike or Trey Bonner or our buddy Jarrett come and do all of our content capture, and we're able to crank out photos and video from every event. Like it's just hustling, but it's working, but it's taking years to get to this point.
No, absolutely. It takes years, and it's just like it's crazy when I look at people's podcasts and you look at some of them and you're just like, okay, there's one in town, I'm not naming any names, but there's one in town that came out of nowhere, and because we've talked about this.
Yes.
And it's like there was no hustle behind it. Like there's no hustle behind you and me. There was just money behind it.
Yeah.
That's the part that kind of gets me. It's like I can respect if someone's beating me in listenership or in exposure.
But the thing is, you don't know what their listener numbers are, and every's shit is a little bit different. That's the thing. It's not like Spotify streams where there's a fucking list and we can see how this song's doing. There's no like chart, and it's all relative, and the space is developing and evolving more and more every day.
I don't think the listenership for that one is good though.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And personally,
I'm not worried about it. It's just, but what ticks me off is that the amount of marketing that's been done for that to make it look as big.
Yeah.
When it's not.
Yeah.
Really that big.
Yeah.
You can tell the marketing behind yours podcast, and you can tell the marketing behind my podcast, and you're like, okay, this shit is these two right here are hustling their asses off.
Yeah.
Because they're getting gas, they're getting they're getting quality gas, and they're doing all that shit. But this one over here is like once every whatever,
you're
getting someone that matters, and it's like,
Yeah.
but you're not proving your numbers.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a grind, and I think that equates to us regionally all coming from the Northeast.
Yeah.
Nick being a Pittsburgh guy who's been working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Been working a full-time job since he was in fucking high school, going back to his paper route when he was a kid.
Yeah.
You being that hungry kid from Philly that was working and going through every door that he could, to being that hungry kid that moved down here and spent time doing fucking tech support from your apartment, to doing driving all that way, to the coffee store you were telling earlier, to hustling and grinding. To me, moving down here and bouncing and living that lifestyle and what I was doing back home, and it's this grind that's instilled in us regionally where we come from, where it doesn't stop.
Dog.
Yeah, where it doesn't stop. Yeah, dog. Yeah, exactly.
I heard something. We were at Chiefs last night, and the video. He played a video before he got on stage, and I've never been more motivated in my life. And I don't know what movie it was from, but it was Christopher Walken. And Christopher Walken, in this scene, walks into the bathroom, talks to this guy who's like, looks like he just been through hell.
Yeah.
And he goes, in Africa, on the mountain, there was this lion. And the lion was just big. He was a big lion. The lioness tried to come over and fuck with him. He didn't move. The hyenas was laughing at him and blah, 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 and he didn't move. And then all of a sudden, one day, the lion was so fed up at the hyenas and at everybody who kept fucking with him. The lion got up and ripped everyone to fucking shreds. He's like, that is the lion that needs to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like we have that. I think here's the thing. We've been told so many times that we can't do something.
Yeah.
And we've been discouraged by so many people so many times and been told no. No, you can't do that. No, we can't hire you. You have no experience.
Yeah.
Well, how am I supposed to get the experience if you won't hire me?
Yeah. Yep.
The reason why I put my podcast out is because I couldn't get a job.
Dude, same.
That's the reason why.
I moved down here thinking I was going to be part-time at one of the two major country stations down here, and was talking with the PD at one of them, and was doing all that, and I couldn't get a job because of my part-time experience that I had in Jersey.
Looking back at it, because I came down here with a reference for one of the stations.
Yeah, probably the same one.
Probably the same one. Came down here with a reference for the station, and looking back at it, I was offered a job, and I turned it down because it wasn't making me the amount of money that the one in Philadelphia made me.
Yeah.
The one, bro, the money I made in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, no, we've talked about this.
Yeah,
we've talked about this, and again, that's in 2010. That's before everybody.
Yeah.
That's before CBS was bought by Entercom and then bought by Odyssey, and then my own company, Greater Media, bought by Beasley, and then this and that. It's all different now, dude. It's all different. I'm happy to be on the other side of it, and
we all have that dog in us.
Yeah,
we have that dog, and we all have that line in us, and it's. In this business, you have to have that line in you at all times, because I sacrifice not going to see my family. And we talked about this before. Because if you take a day off or a week off, that's a missed opportunity.
Bro, last night going to Red Doors, it's
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because there's new kids moving to town all the time. There's a new crew being formed, and you're not going to know who they are if you skip a couple months of Red Door. Me and Nikki T talk about that, and I don't even fucking drink, and I'm still in there. I was out. I didn't drink or smoke nothing last night. I was hitting a vape, and I had my Zyn in, and I did bum a couple cigarettes for my boy. Shout out to Kelly Daniels, and my man Troy in the smoking section. Literally the smoking section at Red Door.
Yeah. Yep.
Cha-ching. But it was like I made some great connections and caught up with some really good friends last night.
Yeah.
Just by being out.
I haven't been to Red Door in a while.
Yeah.
Because Red Door to me, I drink. You don't drink.
Yeah, you drink the Marcus. They literally know how to make the Marcus there. You're not safe.
But here's the thing. Like I said,
it adds up. It adds up quick, and then everybody's like, "Hey, let's do a shot. Hey, let's do a shot." And then it's disrespectful if you say no. But then if you say yes, then you might get too drunk and do something you don't want to.
Correct.
And it's like, yeah, where's the balance?
I don't I told someone I had someone dying the other day. Or one day it was like, I'm like, there's two places in Nashville that I go that I walk in sober and I walk out drunk. Red Door and Tin Roof on Demumbrian.
Yes.
Not on Broadway. But you can walk in those places and not be drunk, not wanting to get drunk. Some way, somehow, you're walking out drunk.
The Red Door, trying to leave Red Door.
Oh, that's the worst.
Bro, if you're on that back patio, which is the prime real estate, I'm an outdoor Red Door guy, not an indoor. Nothing against it. Sitting at the table by the bar is a disadvantage.
I miss the days where you can smoke cigars at Red Door.
Yeah.
I miss the days where you smoke cigars.
Yes, yeah, because that's a big thing. But it's like the sitting on the smoking section area, the little table, the little area that we still have left. Is a good spot to be for exiting purposes because you can just sneak out. You just go out the door and you're right fucking there. But you're at that back thing and you got to walk all the way through the bar. You're going to bump into, at least for me, you're going to bump into 5-10 people and then they're going to want to chit chat, be like, how you doing? How you been? Da, 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 all that. And then you take another step. Oh, fuck, this guy just walked in. Oh, I got to say hi to him. I got to say hey to his girl. Like, and it takes you, there's the Nashville goodbye is the opposite of the Irish goodbye. There's no Irish involved in the Nashville goodbye because you're stuck. No. You're stuck. Drags.
I have gone incognito at Red Door. So I went to Red Door one day. No one has ever seen me dressed in sweats. No one has ever seen me dressed in a hoodie.
Yeah.
With my hat up or like no one.
I've seen you with a hoodie.
You've seen me with a hoodie on, but you never seen like with the hat on and the hoodie on. I have this hoodie that is too big for me, and I have it on purpose. Like I sleep with it sometimes, and I would wear that out to where like you can't see who I am.
Yeah,
and I went one day. My friend was like, "Oh, let's just go out," and I'm like, "I don't want to go out. Like I just don't. I'm like, I'm not very sociable right now. Like I don't want to."
Yeah.
And so like, go to Red Door. I'm like, God damn it, I don't want to go to Red Door. So talked me into going to Red Door. I showed up in Crocs, sweatpants, and my hoodie.
Yeah.
And I had my hoodie and my hat on. And no one knew that I was sitting in the corner.
Damn.
I sat in the corner.
And you probably saw people that you knew.
I saw people that I knew. Because they saw me when it came over and started talking to me.
Yeah.
And no one knew. But the moment that I was leaving and I went like this with my hat because I was hot, someone was like, "Hey, Marcus, what's up?" I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, dude.
God damn it.
It's brutal, bro. It's brutal. Well, dude, I'm excited for what you've got going on. And let's give a little time for this to be out.
Yeah.
I want to come on the smoking section. I'm not an artist. Please let me come on, even if Nikki T comes on with me and we talk about Razor Rowdy shit.
We can definitely do that.
Please do that, and let's fucking smoke some cigars.
Yeah.
And let's fucking go. I also want to invite you. What do you do on Monday nights usually? I know sometimes you pop by Whiskey Jam, but
sometimes it depends on the Monday night.
Monday the 29th, if you're free.
Okay.
Come and hang. We're at the Rusty Nail.
All right.
We're doing Rhythm and Smoke. It is our cigar and whiskey event. And we are partnered with Código Tequila, and I think it's Jefferson's Ocean, a whiskey. So it'll be like $6 old fashions, like very affordable drinks in those bottles. And then we're doing the Crown Heads, the Mil Diaz. So the Mil Diaz, they have a humidor at Rusty Nail now. Like
Do they
sell,
really?
yeah, they sell sticks. Yeah, oh yeah, they keep a large selection.
I haven't been there in a while.
They keep a large selection of CAO, Crown Heads. They got Perdomo in there. They got Rocky in there. They got a bunch of good shit. Tommy the GM, big cigar guy. But we do a writers round. We do on that stage that's out back, and we sit out back. It's duos, so it's acoustic duos doing the writers round. So it's 2 people at a time, and then there's like 4 or 5 different groups that'll go up, and we just sit out back, smoke cigars, drink whiskey, and have a good time at the nail while they're doing volleyball on the volleyball court. So it's vibes are at an all-time high. So if you're free that night, please come and hang. Bring the gang.
I will definitely come.
And we're just gonna smoke cigars and hang out and network and just hang. So
Yeah,
we would love to have you there.
Yeah.
Be a lot of fun.
Yeah, 29th?
29th. It's a Monday night. We'll get it in the calendar.
We'll get it in the calendar for
Marcus, where can people go to find you on all this stuff, dude? This has been like the longest episode I've done in a while. We're right at the 2-hour mark. I love it.
This is a great conversation. You can find me at Markus Koger on Instagram. I don't have a Facebook page anymore.
Why? Too divisive?
No. Wait. I have a personal Facebook page. Don't do that. Don't do that. Markus Koger, or you can find me at Smoking Section Podcast.
Hell yeah.
So, and that's MARKUS KOGER. Yeah. Not Kroger.
Not Kroger.
But yeah, no, this has been great. This has been a long time coming. I'm finally glad we get to do this.
Dude, me too, brother. I appreciate the hell out of it.
Appreciate it.
Y'all be sure to check out our boy Marcus. Be sure to keep the calendar open for events at 6th and Peabody. A lot of cool things coming, especially during CMA Fest and leading up to it. And be sure to check out the Smoking Section podcast, one of my favorites here in town. From my man Marcus, I'm Matt Burrill. Thank you guys, as always, for listening, watching along. Be sure to visit raisedrowdy.com. Be sure to subscribe, rate, do all of that stuff. And we will see you next time. This has been Outside the Round.